there's joy in unity.
Hello, I'm Lloydetta Kweko, welcoming you to Sharing Our Cultures. Joining me in conversation today is Dr. Rufaro Shitsike, and he's a hematologist and a thrombosis specialist in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures, and joining me in conversation today is Dr. Rufaro Shitsike, and he is a hematologist and a thrombosis specialist. So glad that you take time from your busy schedule to be with us today.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Now, I've said that you're a hematologist and a thrombosis specialist. What does your work involve, just for some of the people who may not know that?
All right. Hematology is being a hematologist means that I'm a blood specialist, and thrombosis specialist means that I'm a blood clotting specialist. And in terms of what I do or what I've been doing, since I arrived back in 2012, I started working as a hematologist. So seeing patients who have blood cancers, like leukemia and lymphoma, and managing those patients, be it as an inpatient when they're admitted to the floor and in the hospital, or answering questions about them on the phone, and that could be questions that come from anywhere in the province, any hospital in the province, or seeing patients in the clinic and following them, making sure that the lymphoma or leukemia does not come back, and if it does, treating them with chemotherapy or treating them with chemotherapy right from the outset. So that's what I started doing when I arrived, and I haven't completely stopped doing that, but I tend not to do I tend not to see the patients who have particularly blood cancers. Also, in fact, that involves seeing patients who have bleeding disorders like hemophilia, and patients who had blood clots as well. And so that's what I started off doing. And then over time, what started happening was that actually soon after I arrived, I realized that patients who had blood clots, there was an opportunity for improving some of their care and being a little bit more organized about it, and consolidating their treatments. And so I approached a colleague in pharmacy, and thankfully she agreed to work. We agreed to work together, and then we applied for a grant. We got a decent unrestricted grant, and were able to set up the thrombosis service, the blood clotting service. So that took a number of years, started in 2017, and as a blood clotting specialist, I'd be seeing these patients who come to the clinic. And so people who have blood clots, they would go, for instance, to the emergency room and then be diagnosed with a blood clot and be referred to the clinic. They'll be seen in the clinic within a few days, so that they're seen upfront and managed early to try and reduce the risk of complications down the road. And also answering their general questions to do with how long they need to be on a blood thinner, what other tests need to be done to try and look for certain things that might be relevant for that patient, and managing their blood thinners, for instance, around the time of surgery. So that really is what the thrombosis service started doing back in 2017. And now that takes up the vast majority of my time. That's about 95% of what I do now is purely as a thrombosis specialist. And thankfully, I got a second thrombosis specialist who joined towards the end of last year, which has made things a lot better.
Yes, take
so
on.
that's what I do.
Okay, well, oh my goodness, that's amazing. That's a lot. And before you got the second person to join you, were the only one doing it in the province?
You could say that,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
As I did have some help though from my hematology colleagues,
Okay.
which has been fantastic. I was practicing, yes, as the only thrombosis specialist, but I did have some help from my hematologist colleagues who would definitely help me out a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for all of their input over the years, and our partnership over the years has been really wonderful. But yes, as a blood clotting specialist, yes, that was the case. So, yeah.
All right. Now you mentioned that when you arrived in St. John's, how did you come to be in St. John's,
Right.
being in the province?
Right, as you can probably guess from my name, Dr. Chitsike, that it's not a local name. It's not, from around the bay. And so I was, I was actually born in Ghana, and I grew up in Zimbabwe, went to medical school at the University of Zimbabwe. And then I practiced, and I was working as a physician and doing my other training. And then I went to South Africa at Wits University, and I did hematology there. And after I finished my training in hematology, or while I was doing my training, I got a prize to present some of my work at an international conference in Boston in 2009. And so I went there, and while there, I saw an advert for a thrombosis fellowship, and of course that was something I was doing my master's in. That was what I was presenting at the conference. This is what I had wanted to do, and so I applied for that, and it was at McGill University, and somehow I managed to get that out of the blue.
Okay.
So that was really life-changing, and so came over to Canada. That was 2010, and I did my training now as a thrombosis specialist in my fellowship. And then while I was still doing my thrombosis fellowship training, I went to a conference in the US in Orlando. And while there, I got a message in my hotel room saying, please contact me about a potential job as a hematologist. And so I followed that up, had some meetings and emails, and then I was offered a job as a hematologist here in St. John's. And that's been wonderful. And we got here beginning of, just at the end of 2011, I started working beginning of 2012. And so in a nutshell, that's how I got here.
It was quite a journey.
Indeed,
Yeah,
indeed.
okay.
Yeah. But
That's been great. So we're glad that you came. I know you've been doing some research and teaching as well.
right.
Can you
That's
tell us a
right.
little bit about that?
That's right, yes. So I been involved in research to do with thrombosis. A lot has involved doing research that is applicable within the province to try and improve the lives of patients who have blood clots here in the province, but of course it will have implications in other places as well. I've done some research as well together with other people in other parts of Canada and beyond to do with thrombosis. And one of the research projects has involved looking at patients who have blood clots treated in the thrombosis clinical thrombosis service and looking at their overall outcomes. And so part of the grant that I alluded to at the beginning was used for some full-time positions. So some 3 full-time positions were created in the hospital for staff in the clinic, and then there was also a full-time position created for a postdoctoral fellow who has been doing a lot of the research in that area, and then there was a second postdoctoral fellow who joined afterwards. And so this the first project, just to give you a sneak preview of the of the outcome of the study, which is soon to be published actually, showed that patients who come to the thrombosis service tend to have a better outcome, less complications of new blood clots and bleeding, and it may actually reduce their risk of dying overall. So that's very encouraging feedback. And also there's a study that we're doing right now that trying to look at people who are undergoing surgeries and them getting blood thinners after the surgery to try and prevent a blood clot over a number of years. So surgeries that have occurred in the eastern part of the province over a number of years, and looking at the impact of them getting blood thinners to prevent them from getting blood clots, because blood clots are potentially fatal. So them getting blood thinners to see how they do if they are given a blood thinner. Another thing that I did with my colleague is that we came up with a protocol so that patients who come into the hospital are routinely assessed and nobody is missed, basically, because everybody needs to have that protocol on their chart. So if they're going for surgery, to make sure that those who are supposed to get a blood thinner get a blood thinner, and those who are not supposed to get a blood thinner because of other reasons like bleeding or allergy do not get the blood thinner. And looking at the impact of that in patients who've had surgery. So that's some of the research that I've been involved in thrombosis. So yeah, so that's the research side.
Right.
And then on the teaching side, I do love teaching. Teaching is my passion. And so I've had the privilege of being able to teach at the medical school for about 12 years now. And I also had the opportunity to come up with the curriculum for teaching regarding thrombosis at the medical school. And I would teach by giving lectures, by teaching at the bedside with patients, by teaching in the clinic as well, and also teach residents who have finished their medical school and now are doing further training. So teaching them lectures, bedside, and in the clinic as well. And to my surprise, I got an award actually for teaching. The students at the end of their medical school training will sit down and vote for certain things. And one of the things that they vote for is the lecturer that was supposed to have given them lectures that they found beneficial and that they enjoyed. And so I've received that award. I've actually received it twice. And that's something that I really treasure. So,
especially when it's coming from your students. And well, congratulations. I didn't know about that award, but I'm so glad that you shared it with us. And we're just going to take a short break. And when we come back, we'll find out more about what you've been doing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Sharing Our Cultures will be right back.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better. At Rogers TV, we know our community thrives because of the incredible people who support it. Today, we want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all our amazing volunteers. Your hard work, dedication, and passion make our productions possible, bringing local stories and events to life for everyone to enjoy. Whether you're behind the camera, in the control room, or helping at events, your contributions are invaluable.
You're watching Rogers TV St. John's.
And welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures as we continue our conversation with Dr. Shitsike. So glad to have had you here, and I've learned enough of so much already just with the short time we've spent together. But I know you're a very busy person. You're also involved in organizing conferences, both provincially and nationally,
right.
and involved in leadership within your area and your field of work and research. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, I will definitely try. Soon after I arrived in the province back in 2012, I realized that there are a number of resources for upskilling healthcare providers who do not live in the world of thrombosis like I do. And a lot of those resources like conferences and workshops are held in mainland Canada, tends to be more central Canada. And so I realized that actually a lot of our healthcare providers in the province may not have the opportunity to travel for those. And back then, virtual attendance at conferences was not as big. And so I started a provincial conference, thrombosis conference, together with a colleague and some other members of the team. And this a provincial conference, actually it was maybe, I don't know if it was ahead of its time, but because we wanted to include people from all different parts of the province, it was given both virtually and in person. And so we had one in 2014, 2016, and 2018. And yeah, really enjoyed them and had a lot of good feedback, which was very encouraging. I'd wanted to do one in 2020, but unfortunately with COVID, that shut that down. And things have been a little bit busy since then. And so I have not been able to try and get that together for the subsequent years. But it was fantastic. We had world-renowned speakers who were invited and gave talks, and the opportunity to attend was present for people throughout Newfoundland and Labrador to attend. So that was a joy, actually. It was really a joy to be involved with that. And then on a more national level, I've also had the opportunity to be part of Thrombosis Canada, which is a national organization that equips healthcare providers with tools to make good decisions regarding patients who have blood clots. And by the way, blood clots, when I say blood clots, a lot of people think of strokes and heart attacks. This is actually talking about blood clots in the veins, not in the arteries. So blood clots in the legs going up to the lungs. And so Thrombosis Canada is maybe one of the leading resource centers for decision-making at the point of care. And so I've been involved in writing some of the guides, or some people call them guidelines, but technically they're guides, on how to manage people with blood clots. And also been involved in planning the national conference for thrombosis, which is held once a year. And I also sit on the what's called the CPD committee, Thrombosis Canada CPD committee, or the Continual Professional Development Committee. And that committee basically looks from a strategic level about teaching regarding thrombosis within Thrombosis Canada, and gives some guidance regarding the national conferences or other teaching workshops. Additionally, this committee, what we do is we will provide, the word is, we'll look at the structure of the teaching that is being proposed, and make sure that it's accredited. There's the word. Accredited. It's accredited, and so we'll accredit both thrombosis and also non-thrombosis conferences across Canada. And so people will submit their plan. We've got a rubric that we look at, and we've been accredited as an accredited body, and then we'll accredit their program so that when healthcare providers attend the conferences, they can claim points, and they can add that to their the monitoring of their ongoing training. So had the privilege of being involved in that way. And also I've been involved in the Public Health Agency of Canada. And you might remember when there was all the stories of these deadly blood clots that were killing people around the time of COVID related to vaccinations. And so I had because of my involvement in Public Health Agency of Canada, I had the opportunity to make some recommendations and suggestions at a provincial level about avoiding particular vaccines that would be associated or have a higher chance of developing that VIT, which is a deadly blood clotting disorder. And thankfully, the province has kind of steered away from that. And to date, just through Public Health Agency of Canada, I can say that I'm not aware that there have been any patients who have been diagnosed with that deadly blood clotting disorder in the province. I know it might look different on social media, but it does need to go a particular way for the diagnosis to be made, and that has not occurred. So yes, so that's some of the leadership that I've had the opportunity and privilege to be part of, to serve.
Well, thank you so much. That's really very good. That's valuable work, right? Because it's so many people's lives involved. And you're so busy, but I'm sure you have a life outside of your work life. We'd like to hear some of that.
Gosh, yeah. So, sometimes I look at my life outside of work and I wonder what's busier, because my life outside of work is crazy busy. Well, I guess maybe the first thing I'd probably say is that my faith is actually really important to me, and it motivates a lot of the things that I do. And then our family life is kind of crazy busy. We're at a busy stage for many different reasons. My wife is, she's got a lot on her plate. She has responsibilities as working in a Big Four accounting firm, and sits on a few non-for-profit bodies in the province, boards, and our kids. We've got three wonderful kids, and I love to be involved in their lives, and so they are involved in addition to their schooling, they're involved in soccer and gymnastics, and they've actually all represented the province or representing the province in those areas. And so that's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of getting kids up and down, as you can imagine. And so things are actually really busy. I really love coaching soccer, actually. It's my passion, and I love to learn every day about coaching soccer. I love it so much, and I've had the opportunity to coach for a number of years now. So I do love that, and I really enjoy riding my bike in this stunning province with incredible views. And I love riding my bike out on the trails, and when I get the opportunity, I really enjoy that. So those are some of the things that keep me busy.
I don't know how you're able to fit it all in, but you do somehow. So do any of your children play soccer then?
Yes, actually, our oldest is just confirmed yesterday. He'll be participating in the Canada Games. He's in the squad for the Canada Games for soccer. Yeah. And the middle son, he also plays, and they're both goalkeepers, strangely. He currently plays for the province. And then our daughter is a gymnast, and so she's also represented the province, and so that's so they've got busy lives in and of themselves. So just trying to help them and being in their worlds is a real joy and a pleasure.
Yeah. But it's so important to be in their worlds too, right? Yeah. But I know you've got three children, and I'm sure some days you're going three different directions if they're that much involved. But I want to say congratulations. You're such a good coach that you coached him well enough that he's able to represent.
Well, they have to do it on the field themselves, so thankfully they'll pick it up. But as a parent, I'll do whatever I can to help, and most parents would probably do the same. So.
Yeah. Well, you've tried so that your work doesn't make it so busy that you can't spend time with them, because we know some people who just work, 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 and then the children and never see, they're up out in the morning out and late night and never get to see their parents. So you're doing a fantastic work to be able to do that.
That's encouraging feedback, and sometimes it feels so crazy, but yes, I try as much as I can to try and be involved in their lives.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and that's great. And
Thank
congratulations that you were able to do so much. We're so glad that you accepted the opportunity to come and work here, and you've done fantastic work since you've arrived. We really want to acknowledge that, and thank you so much for staying and improving the conditions that were here, making sure that you're helping people and helping them to be safe and to be healthy and to be well. And I know you're a great collaborator as well. You've been working with your team and your other colleagues, and it's so lovely to see that. I thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. And I must say, I really love living in the province, and I've got a lot to be thankful to the province for. And I've got lots of opportunity. The family has got lots of opportunity, and so really grateful to the province as well, and really enjoy those sunny days.
Yes.
Every one of them.
Yes. They're really special. Special. The sunny days, you got to enjoy them when they come.
That's right.
Thank you so much, and I do wish you all the best, and I wish your children the best as well in the Canada Games, that they will do well, I'm sure. And thank you, and thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Lodeta.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
And Sharing Our Cultures will be right back.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.
Join us again next time and meet more remarkable people who are making contributions to Newfoundland and Labrador.
Come together, you and me, come together right now, for all the world to see. Come together.